Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about the more forceful, thorough, comprehensive rejection by a court of the many different rules and strategies that were cooked up in the Trump dominated state election board in Georgia to try to deter people from voting or give greater powers to individual Trump partisans to gum up the works and keep certification from happening. We now have an opinion really doing away with basically all of them. Remember now, in recent days, we've had two opinions that were in a declaratory judgment where Judge Thomas McBurney struck down the two most important efforts by the Trump-dominated Georgia Elections Board to provide power to Trump partisans to try to delay things. The first was giving individual county boards power to stop the music and not certify if they found a reasonable cause to do so, whatever the heck that was. And the judge said, you have to certify. That's not a discretionary, but it's a mandatory duty. And then also this crazy provision that would have been a recipe for chaos and huge delay of having to count and recount by hand the number of ballots. So that set the stage for what is now a lawsuit brought by voters challenging pretty much the whole panoply of efforts by the Trump forces to try to deter some voters or give more power to Trump partisans to delay things. We have something like a dozen different efforts by them to, for example, make absentee voting harder or to have video surveillance of lock boxes that might seem ominous and give people pause about voting. New identification for absentee ballots, giving poll watchers the ability to who are elected by or appointed by a party to go and have access to see what's happening and put their nose in things. About a dozen such things, and the judge strikes them all down. And the basic holding is, this is for the legislature to do. This is not for some bureaucrats, the state election board, to introduce all this new stuff. And it's not simply just, interpreting or putting a gloss on the law that's already there. It's all these new requirements, and they are unconstitutional, and he very forcefully says, unconstitutional, null and void. The basic notion that the judge writes is, look, it's one thing, and it would be okay to have rules and regulations to carry into effect the laws that were already passed, but all of these exceed or are in conflict with specific provisions of the election code. They are therefore unlawful and void under the U.S. Constitution as well, because it's the state that has the authority to make these rules, and that means the state legislature, and you can't have the state election board just come in and repaint the whole edifice, as it were. So generally, in Georgia at least, the efforts, and we were reading about them at the time in September, one after the other enactments, 3-2, all designed cleverly or even not so cleverly to try to make it easier for Trump to delay or to protest or to claim different results. They are all gone at a sweep in this really forceful 11-page opinion, and I don't see how they could be resuscitated. So that's a good story in Georgia. As I've said before, these kinds of efforts are going on all over the country, and you don't know exactly where they're striking. Sometimes they're in non-swing states, so you don't focus as much. Georgia, it's an important victory. Remember what happened last time around with Trump trying to browbeat the Secretary of State. I just need 11,780 votes. It looks as if that election anyway will be run the way it was designed, with rules set by the legislature, not special provisions set by a Trump-dominated elections board. So pretty much end of the road for all these efforts in Georgia, but have to be following them closely around the country. And we'll bring them to you as they come. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.